And I mean, I appreciate it. It's okay this time.
Yeah.
Next time.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can. Okay. Are these things on? Because last time they were. Oh, we're on. I don't know. Here you go. Pass them on. Oh, you did?
No, I didn't.
I'd like to call this meeting to order, March 2nd, 2026, regular meeting for the Muncie Common Council. At this time, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please remove your hats. And Seth Rawlings, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you remain standing, please? Mr. McIntosh will do the invocation.
Let us pray. Gracious Father, we come to you today, Father God, asking and believing in you, Father God, that you will open up our hearts and minds today, Father God, for this meeting that's coming before us. I ask that you bless each and every one that's here, Father God, in the homes they represent. We just want to be able to do the business of this city, Father God. And then we just thank you in advance. And it's Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
First order of business is the citizen recognition. Unfortunately, unable to do that this month, so we're going to put it off till next month, and Sarah Goen will do that for the April meeting. So that brings us to the approval of minutes from last month. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
Mr. President, I make a motion that we approve the minutes of the February Common Council meeting.
A second. Linda, did you get that? Okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. I would like to make a statement before we get into the appointments of boards and commissions. We would like to say a thank you to the Muncie Fire Department and their honor guard for their former firefighters. It was very much appreciated by the Starks family. So we want them to know that. They appreciate it very much. Also would like to make a comment concerning the structure of the council meetings. The way that we have been doing things, we're going to change it again tonight, going back to the old former format. Public comment will be at the end of the meeting. 3 minutes will be given to each person. Do want you to know that Belinda has asked that the list that Roe has for those that will be speaking, your name will be included into the minutes of the meeting at the end, so I want you to know that. We have one other thing I'd like to share, because I know that some may not stay till the end, and that is Muncie Central, the Color Guard, and the Drum Line. I received this information from Dr. Reynolds. They will be performing their shows that they will perform for state competition. That will be in the Muncie Fieldhouse, March 19th at 7 p.m. And that is open and it's free to the public. So we want you to know that you have that opportunity to go and be a part of that. Moving on to
Roll call.
yes, roll call.
Mr. Dishman?
Present.
Ms. Selby?
Present.
Mr. McIntosh?
Present.
Mr. Mason?
Present.
Ms. Powell?
Here.
Mr. Garrett?
Present.
Ms. Elliott?
Here.
Mr. Backus?
Here.
President Green?
Here. Appointments to boards and commissions. We have the Beech Grove Cemetery, that we have an ordinance before us tonight, so we want, that would be reducing their numbers. So we will put that off until next month to help them out. So that moves us then to committee reports, and I believe, is Ms. Daniels here to bring a report on the opioid advisory committee?
Good evening. I'm Linda Daniel, 1305 North Elm. I'm the secretary of the Opioid Fund Advisory Committee, and I appreciate the opportunity to come and give you an update on what we're doing. A little bit on my background. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've worked in the community for 40 years. I retired from Baugh Hospital at the end of 23. The last 5 years of my career there, I helped start the Addiction Treatment Recovery Center. The committee has met 3 times, and our next meeting is Thursday, March 5th. Our committee members include Abby Carpenter. She is the executive director of the Recovery Cafe. Eric Hoffman, prosecuting attorney for Delaware County. Ashley Hunter, IU Health physician. Neil Gring, pastor, community activist, and he's also with the Muncie Folk Collective. Corey Matters, who's with Open Door. He's a licensed clinical social worker and also is a licensed addiction counselor. And Dwayne Wiggins, who's a retired fire chief and first responder from Randolph County. I feel like we have a really good group. It's a working committee, and so far we're off to a good start. So the first couple of meetings, we discussed the importance of transparency of how we distribute the funds, as well as responsible stewardship of the funds, because these funds are available only because of the loss of life. It's also important to the committee that the funds make as much impact as possible and that we support local recovery efforts already in place. We've reviewed state guidelines for the approved use of funds, as well as the ethical principles of use published by Johns Hopkins. And these principles are used by most communities for guidelines to how to distribute the funds. And all of these guidelines are available to all committee members on a Google Share Drive. And we're also working on how can we make our agenda and minutes available to the public. So we've compiled a list of treatment providers that offer medication-assisted treatment, as well as organizations that offer harm reduction and overdose reversal products. Muncie has multiple agencies and organizations that don't necessarily provide clinical treatment, but they're very supportive of recovery. And those are the organizations that we would really like to focus on, the local ones that are focused on recovery. So we are in the process of finalizing a form and a process by which we will distribute the funds, which agencies can submit proposals for funding. And in an effort, though, to expedite release of funds, we made the decision to recommend 3 specific agencies receive $25,000 this year and next year. And those 3 organizations are Big Time Barbell, the Serenity Club, and the Recovery Cafe. And of course, we're looking at other organizations as well and thinking about similar amounts for those other organizations. And I'm willing to take any questions.
Any questions from the council? None.
No questions, Mr. President.
Yes.
I'd just like to commend you for the work you're doing. It's a blue ribbon panel. We're so proud of you. Thank you for this report and look forward to more in the future.
Thank you
I
very
do have
much.
a comment.
Yes.
Okay, I appreciate you guys starting with the fundings with organizations that are local, that were part of the journey of addiction and recovery, and not concentrating on the bigger organizations that get funding from the government. So Big Time Barbell does a great job with the one-on-one coaching and the health aspect of it. And so does the Recovery Cafe, and the third one you mentioned
The
was?
Serenity Club.
Absolutely. So you
So
guys did a
lots-
great job with that, starting from the ground up. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President,
Yes. Sure.
would it be possible for us to be able to put a link to their minutes and their agenda on our council page? Could we link that up with that? Look into it, yeah. Well, just to, yeah, if we could just maybe put a link to theirs or something, maybe. We can look into it, but I'd like to talk to you about it, yeah.
All right. Thank you. Anything else from council? Any other committee reports at this time? I do want to mention committee that I'm a part of, Mr. McIntosh. Community Center is meeting tomorrow night, starting that off with Mayor Ridenhour. So I wanted everybody to know that it's still an ongoing process, and it's exciting. This is going to happen. We want to see this take place. Do want to let you know, remind you when you come to the podium to speak, do not give your address. Just say that you're a citizen of Muncie, okay? We want to keep everyone as safe as possible. Okay. Yes, sir.
Could you please mention where the meeting's going to be for some of us who just want to hear what's going on?
The address of the meeting is 1910 South Mock.
Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Mr. President,
Yes.
can you make sure the doors are unlocked tonight? Because they're locked again, I think. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are they unlocked, Chief? Okay, they're unlocked. Okay. There are no ordinances previously introduced. Brings us to new ordinances. Ordinance 6-26.
Ordinance 6-26, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Section 32.39 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances, prerequisites to actions on ordinance resolution.
I have a motion to introduce.
So moved.
Second? Second. Mr. McIntosh, I think it was. Okay. Any public comment? I didn't.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And this is for 626.
Not
Uh,
bad.
Yep, so my name is Seth Rawlings. I come in support of Ordinance 626. I mean, a lot of people, actually everybody ran for office at the city level in 2023 mentioned a idea of bringing transparency to city government, no matter really what it was. Part of this actually, the language of it's pretty much like the most basic thing that you could probably provide. Like you're basically saying that if you have an ordinance that you put your name on, you are the one who personally signs for it. I just think it's a very basic thing, and I mean that's why like I would support you guys not only introducing tonight, but both introducing and getting it voted on tonight. I think it's a really easy thing we can do for the community. Brings a lot of like accountability that, in just a small way. This is a small win, but it would mean a lot, I think, to a lot of people if this is something that was passed tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Christopher Bilbrey. We've been talking about this since September of last year, so you guys should have zero question about this. We talked about it for 2.5 hours last meeting, an hour and a half, something like that. There should be very little question that you guys have. If you guys, I'll be honest, if you have question at this point, it would be laughable, and it would be ridiculous. It would be showing that you guys aren't doing your jobs if you have questions at this point. You have heard from the citizens since September of last year that this is something that the citizens overwhelmingly want. No more gameplay, no more adding weird amendments, because you could have all done that before tonight. So doing that tonight will be seen as what it is, gameplay that you guys are trying, and it's strange, like, can you not look at me when I'm speaking to you? Do you not like me that much that you just will not look at me? That's very strange. Anyways, I'll continue on. Just vote for this thing. What I would like for you to do is to unanimously speak to vote for it, suspend the rules, and pass this thing tonight. Get this thing passed tonight so we can be done with it. If you vote against this, whoever votes against this, it will be overwhelmingly speaking that you are against what your constituents want, and you might as well just speak up and say, look, we do not want or care what you think. So please vote for this, pass this, and let's get it over, suspend the rules, and let's be done with it tonight. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ellen Whitehead. I am a Muncie resident, and my views do not represent those of my employer. I want to voice my strong support of Ordinance 626. As I've stated during discussions of previous versions of this ordinance, I think this is a common sense change to the procedures for filing ordinance, and a vote against this ordinance represents a vote against transparency and against a clear public position on this topic. In fact, in preparation for my comments today, I reviewed council meeting minutes and recordings across the past several months. I found a total of 38 separate instances, 41 including the 3 comments tonight, in which your constituents voiced their support for this ordinance or spoke against making any substantive changes to it. And I know that council members have also received numerous emails in support. In contrast, I was not able to find a single time in which a member of the public spoke directly against this ordinance. Although I recognize that I am not privy to the content of all emails received by council members, the pattern of support seems clear. My hope is that all council members will demonstrate that they respect the opinions of their constituents by voting in support of Ordinance 626. I especially want to emphasize that I hope the council votes in support of the ordinance as written moving forward, as throughout all of the public conversations of this ordinance, I have not heard a single perspective from a constituent that would call for any substantive amendments. This issue is not a minor procedural matter. Instead, transparency is a core democratic principle. Voters care deeply about this, and they will remember how their elected officials respond. I encourage the council to take their opinions of their constituents seriously. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening to the council members. My name is Rita Faulkner, and I'm a Muncie resident. I ask that the council members vote in favor of Ordinance 626. There are many points to be made, but I'll just make 3. Ordinance 626 will protect council members from having their names and signatures used without explicit knowledge and consent. Number 2, Ordinance 626 will ensure that the council agenda is not determined by others in our city government. Point 3, Ordinance 626 will codify a practice that many residents consider reasonably assume already exists. It's common sense, as mentioned before. Please vote for Ordinance 626. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Alex Kluber, a Muncie resident, and my views do not represent those of my employer. I'm here to also lend my support for Ordinance 3-26. Many members of the public have spoken in support of the goal of this ordinance over the last several months, and that includes both Democrats and Republicans. I think it's a simple, common sense, and should be a bipartisan issue that I think you would be proud to support. Previously, Ordinance 3-26 was introduced unanimously, and that's what I'm asking you to do tonight. I do think it would be highly efficient to do as others have suggested, to suspend the rules and pass it. Yeah, and I'll just say, in the previous meeting, I think there were several amendments made that muddied the waters, and I think it'd be best to not amend this ordinance, to pass it in its current form. I think there's no good that came of that. And even through all that discussion, no one really spoke in opposition to the central goal. So I think let's just keep it simple, and let's not play politics. Let's listen to the public's wishes, and let's introduce this and pass this ordinance. Thank you.
Good evening. Chip Taylor, Muncie resident. Speak only on behalf of myself. So like these others, I want to encourage the council to vote to introduce Ordinance 626. My understanding of the rules will require a unanimous vote. It's an extraordinary measure. I hope you'll do it for 3 reasons. Although this issue has been placed on the agenda 3 times for introduction, discussed extensively, there hasn't been really a lot of discussion about the underlying issue. The second thing is, I believe the council members that oppose this change in procedure are overlooking a short-term aspect of its benefits. And the third thing, I also think there are longer-term aspects. So the first time this ordinance was on the agenda, it failed on introduction. Most of the discussion centered around like sort of who did what when the resolution got withdrawn. and then, that was withdrawn and then refiled without the sponsoring council member's knowledge. That's an important issue, but I'm not sure ordinance introduction is the best venue for the council to do that sort of fact-finding. You have other, capabilities. The second time it was on the agenda, some others said it was introduced, but the discussion and adoption was kind of derailed by some perhaps well-meaning but seriously flawed amendments. So I appreciate, Councilwoman Powell, I appreciate your determination bringing this forward a third time. I'll admit I'm not optimistic. My sense is that your Republican colleagues on the council have no appetite for casting a vote that would be construed as a rebuke to the mayor for his improper intrusion into council business earlier. But I would say the Republican members, if you kind of broaden your perspective a little bit, I think you realize Ms. Powell is possibly doing you a favor. Let me say this first. I don't think the mayor will do this again. I don't know why he would want to have another blow up like this a second time. As Mitch McConnell says, there's no education, the second kick of a mule, right? But I can't say that for sure. I'm neither a mind reader nor a fortune teller. I'll make this prediction with absolute confidence, though. If he were to do it again, he won't do it to one of the Democrats on the council, because he knows they'll holler. If he were to do it again, he'll do it to one of the Republicans like he did last time. You deserve better than that. Councilman Basham, you deserved better than that. But I don't think considering our current political environment is even the right way to look at it. There's a long-term issue at play. Collectively, the 9 of you constitute, the Muncie Common Council, which is one of the 2 key, political institutions that govern the city of Muncie. Of course, the other key institution is the office of the mayor, right? And each institution has its own roles to play in governance. You share power, okay, but they're separate powers, and you influence each other through a system of checks and balances and persuasion, not coercion. Your powers are separate and distinct, okay? And this is actually described in state law. It's not just the opinion of one cranky retired political science professor, right? That provision may have been written by a cranky retired political science professor, but it's in there. It has no teeth. It's more of a statement of principle. So one of your jobs as a council is to protect the integrity of your institution. What the mayor did violated that integrity. Let's not mince words about it. Okay, it was wrong. And if we know anything about the violation of norms, it's that once someone violates a norm, it makes it easier for someone else to violate it later. Okay? But when you meet that intrusion with kind of collective shrug, like it doesn't matter, or even worse, an invitation to the administration, offer them like a veto over what you're even allowed to discuss, you're not protecting the institution. You need to protect the institution. That's why you need to protect this measure. You need to pass this measure. It's not because of him necessarily. It's because of the next person that might try and do something like this. As I said, it's common sense change. So I encourage you to vote for it tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Sarah Vitale. I'm a resident of Muncie, and the views that I express do not reflect the views of my employer. I almost feel like I should just sit down because Mr. Taylor just gave such an amazing reflections, and I hope that he can maybe print those off and give them to you so you could look at them later, because he made so many good comments. I wanted to take notes, and I really appreciated what he said about the integrity of the institution and the fact that you aren't the mayor. That you get to be in charge of this space, this branch of government, and you have a legacy to protect, and you have a situation that you can set up to leave to future council people. I think you should support Ordinance 6-26 because it's reasonable, and it would promote our trust in you, because that trust has been shaky. I do believe that you inserted a poison pill last time. It felt intentional to me, but like Mr. Taylor, I cannot read minds. But it was upsetting to watch. And it made the city council meeting into something that we don't want these spaces to be. But you can change your minds. You can change your minds. You can listen to us and listen to what I think are really solid arguments. not just our feelings or whims. And I want to thank you for changing your mind on the timing of public comment. I appreciate it. I feel like you're listening to some feedback that you're getting. I imagine that it's difficult to be the president of the council. I imagine it's difficult to sit up there with your faces stoic and looking at us, especially when we come at you with all sorts of different positions and feelings. But I think that that's, I think that that's an honor that you get to do that as well. And I appreciate you taking that into consideration and changing that. I imagine, since today is the day that this ordinance is being introduced and not voted on, unless you do take extraordinary measures to vote on it tonight, I imagine then that it seems like you've changed that rule as well and are allowing public comment both at the day of introduction and the day of voting. And I'm very appreciative of that. And I think that, yeah, so many of us are. So thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Mary Moore, and I speak on myself, and I don't represent my employer. But I do think I represent a lot of the neighbors who have been here today when they talk about their support of this resolution. And I just want to reiterate, there's a million reasons why that we have heard why we should support it, and not very many reasons why we should not. In fact, I really haven't heard one yet. It will increase transparency, it will prevent undue influence, and it will increase our confidence in you as a council. So I agree with Seth, and I urge you to suspend the rules and vote on it this evening. And I think it will not just restore our faith in you, but I think it will also restore our faith in future councils, and that's a big part of what you should be doing here as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Elizabeth Edgell. I know you guys knew I would be coming, right? I would urge you to go ahead and put this ordinance through. No one's really addressed it, and they kind of a little bit addressed it. The real elephant in the room is what's happened here is our trust in you has been shaken. It started with the party jumping that we had and the power on council changing. I don't know if we're supposed to notice that, or it's supposed to be like when they put the other Darren in on Bewitched and we were just supposed to go along with it. But we noticed, just so you know, and you know that destroys public trust and faith in the system when you show us that our vote doesn't matter and you go ahead and switch your parties and you switch everything. Okay? It changed everything. All right? That's what we're here about. And we're here about the partisan crap you guys were serving up last meeting. All right? The partisan stuff's got to stop. As soon as you got elected here, you serve the people you were elected to serve. That is your district. That if you're at large, that is the people. Rose sat up here and yelled at everybody in 24 in January, saying, you elected us to serve you, when she was pushing the BOT agreement through. We are the ones you work for, not the mayor, not your party. And with the fact that we've been talking about this, like Christopher said, since September, it's just ridiculous. What else could we have accomplished by now if we weren't dealing with this, or when we could speak? I'm shaking, I'm so furious with this. And to suggest that the citizens out here were somehow remiss and we were wrong was just ridiculous. I mean, I've sat up here and been flipped off by John Hampton. I've seen another city council member censured for racist comments. Heck, last term there was more appointed members of your body than there was elected ones because they kept quitting. Yeah, you have the right to sit there and tell us. I went back 8 years. Never once has a citizen been a problem. The citizens don't make the big headlines in the newspaper like y'all do. Or the mayor does. Maybe you. But I appreciate you letting us have our time back. I do. And we were here to talk about that. But this ordinance is a no-brainer. And we all know it's been partisan, the reason that you haven't passed it through. And the time for that is done. I mean, I know you enjoy your seats, but there is an election coming up. You know that, right? And we want you to do what we want you to do. We've been asking you to do this for months now. Can you get it done for us? Vote it through tonight. Go ahead and put it up for vote tonight. Thank you.
Hello, City Council. I'll keep it short because basically everything I wanted to say has already been said, and I think there's a lot of amazing points. The people are coming here to make their voices heard, and I think it's up to you guys, the ball's in your court, to just listen to the people that you're supposed to represent. I think we all are in agreement about what is right, just do the right thing, so we're just encouraging you to vote for, 46-26. I'm Jackson Franklin. I'm a combat medic in the Army National Guard, but my views do not represent my employer, of course. This proposal is simple and common sense. It strengthens the integrity of the legislative process by ensuring that ordinances and resolutions are submitted directly by the sponsoring councilperson, either in person or through their official email, with clear documentation attached at the time of filing. That's not red tape. That's just accountability. That's doing your jobs that we elected you to do. Requiring supportive documents up front improves transparency for both council members and the public. It ensures everyone is reviewing the same information at the same time. It prevents confusion, protects procedural vulnerabilities, and makes the process more secure. Just as importantly, the provision preventing reintroduction of defeated ordinances without unanimous consent respects the will of the council and avoids unnecessary political gamesmanship. This ordinance doesn't give anyone more power, it protects the process. And when process is strong, the public trust is stronger. I encourage you all to vote yes on the introduction of Ordinance 6-26. Serve the people, don't serve yourselves. Thank you.
Evening, Council. Cameron Grubbs, citizen of Muncie. I had one amendment suggestion. No, I don't. I get thrown out of here so quick. Professor Taylor had made such great points and everything, and I think there were a lot of thoughts that came from everything that's transpired. And those of you that know me, that have seen me, know I'm not, I would guess that the mayor is not going to say I'm a fan of his. But what I can do is offer that I can give the benefit of the doubt that I don't know that there was anything nefarious planned, that it was just potentially an accident, an assumption of communication and everything like that. And I think that things got a little bit out of hand. And so I would ask, we can step forward. This thing has everything that I'm all about, accountability and transparency. So I think we can move forward. It's not about punishing anybody. It is about preventing this from happening again. And I did want to offer a thank you, President Green, for this, and then Councilwoman Powell for continuing to push this. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kim Whitlock. I'm a citizen of Muncie, and I'm staying up past my bedtime tonight to talk to you. The fact that I have to come here on a cold winter night to ask my city council to be transparent with me is absolutely asinine ridiculous. Listen to how that sounds. You are voted in to represent the constituents of Muncie who elected you. What are you planning to do up there that you don't want to be transparent with us? That's the question. And see this group gathered here tonight? It's a room full of people used to burning the candle at both ends. And if you do not do the right thing tonight by voting yes on this, we will all work hard to make sure you never sit up there again.
Good evening, Melinda Messini, a resident of Muncie. I speak not the opinions of my employer. Everyone has said such amazing things here. I'll just amplify those and add two things. One is thank you for listening to our concerns about the rules. That's greatly appreciated. And I believe the interest of the city clerk was reflected in the revision of this, and that is just amazing. So thank you for that addition, and thank you all for being here.
Wayne Scaife. I left the last meeting
early last month, and I'm glad I did. I ended up watching it the next day. I probably watched it 3 or 4 times. And I have to say, of all the city council meetings that I've been to or seen, that was by far the worst. Some of you I know, some of you I know of, but that meeting made you guys look incompetent. That was horrible. That was absolutely horrible. The problem I have with that meeting, when this issue came up in November, the mayor stood here and answered all the questions. He wasn't even involved. 2 people that were involved never said a word. Mr. Basham, you sit there and didn't give any kind of input, and you were in the middle of all of this. But last month, you did more talking than everybody up there to muddy the waters on this issue than anybody. I didn't get it. When we needed your answers was in November. We didn't need all that nonsense last month. All these amendments, and you just took over the whole thing to just mess this whole thing up, and basically you caused it, and you messed the whole thing up. I really don't understand how some of this stuff works up here. I don't understand how some of you guys think. I don't know if you're just so partisan, playing partisan politics so bad that you just say screw everybody else. Mr. Dishman, oh my God. During those debates, you did not participate in anything. But the first time you spoke was to end the debate. That's amazing to me. I'm going to say that again. You did not participate in the debates, but you wanted to end the debate. So couldn't nobody else say anything. And I really don't get you guys. I really don't. This is by far the worst I've seen. So this ordinance right here, remember 2019, the mayor ran on transparency. He says transparency so many times at those not caucuses, those debates and meetings that, it should be still ringing in your ears. So when it's time for us to deal with it, you guys want to do something else. This is all about transparency, nothing else. So tonight, no amendments. There should be no discussion. No amendments, and we also need to suspend the rules. Vote on this thing tonight. This has been going on since, like Bilby said, September. Let's get this mess over with. Suspend the rules. Let's vote on this thing tonight and end all this. Thank you.
Audie Barber, citizen of Muncie. I've been coming up here for quite a few years. We've seen a lot of new faces up here the last few months over this ordinance. I think maybe you guys need to take into consideration the new faces you have seen and realize that I speak for the citizens out there. I may not be the only one tonight. I may be the only one next month. But when you got people calling you and say, hey, we need your help, speak up for us, because they don't have the courage, or they don't have the, whatever it takes to get up here and talk to you guys. But you've seen a lot of new faces up here. We used all the amendments last month. No more amendments. Let's just vote on this thing. I'm the last person in line, I think. Let's just vote on this thing. Suspend the minutes. Vote on it again. And you don't have to face it no more. We don't need no auto pen for you guys. You guys can all sign your own amendments. You can sign your own paperwork. And if you can't, I'll get you a paper that we can put an auto pen to and let you resign your office. So just please do your job. Thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Um,
Council.
Yes.
I wanted to address something that was said. Yes, this ordinance 6-26 does reflect some of the input from the clerk's office in that the ordinances will have all the graphs and documents when filed. But I also wanted to address something that Dr. Taylor and Mr. Franklin said, and that is I would like to ask our attorney for a point of clarity. They both had mentioned the unanimous vote, which when we first discussed this, that was discussed. But could you step to the mic and talk about the fact, do you feel that this requires a unanimous vote, or do you feel like ordinance 6-26 is different than ordinance 3-26 that was defeated?
Yeah, so a couple comments on that. A couple of the spectators, and you're right. The Muncie ordinance does include a provision that says a defeated ordinance has to, if it's brought back up within a calendar year, it has to be approved by unanimous consent. When I approved this as to form, it was not my opinion that this needed to have a unanimous consent. That's because we're not comparing 326 to 626. We're comparing 326 as amended to 626, and 326 as amended included the controller. So there's a substantive change there. I think it has a big change on the legal effect of the amendment that was passed at the last meeting. And then there is also an additional requirement on the filer that was just brought up. And so in my opinion, I don't believe that this requires a unanimous consent. I think it goes to a simple majority, and that's why.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any other questions from council?
I just want to
You
make
have a
one other.
follow-up question?
No, just one other comment that, and in trying to compromise and collaborate last month, Councilperson Selvey said she wished there were more dialogue. When I filed this, I reached out to all my colleagues and explained that I was filing it. I asked if there were concerns or questions regarding ordinance 626, and I received none. So I tried to compromise and include everyone's suggestions and still keep the intent of the original 40-25. That's all I have to say.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
doing that.
Thank
Yep.
Okay. We'll do roll call then.
Yes.
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 Mr. President?
Yes.
In listening to many of my constituents that are in the audience and spoke, I would like to make a motion to suspend the rules and adopt 626 this evening.
Second.
Did you get that, Melinda?
Who was the second? Mr. Mason?
Mr. Mason.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Moving on to ordinance 7-26.
Ordinance 7-26, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Chapter 93 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances.
We have somebody here to speak on Beach Grove. Mr. Waters?
We didn't move to adopt.
Oh, I thought we did.
No, we suspended the rules.
You voted
but we
to
I
didn't.
apologize.
Oh, just a second, we'll go back. Yep. I was like, we didn't talk. Yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay. It's just a motion.
We
Just
have
a
a
minute.
motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Ordinance 6-26, so moved.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Hey, Laura, congrats.
Now moving to ordinance 7-26.
Ordinance 7-26, an ordinance of the City of Muncie amending Chapter 93 of the City of Muncie Code of Ordinances.
I have a motion to introduce.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we introduce ordinance 7-26.
I'll second.
Sarah. All those in favor?
Aye.
I think Troy's here to talk about it.
Excuse me, Troy. Go ahead.
Troy Waters, Superintendent, Beech Grove Cemetery. I hadn't actually physically seen the ordinance, so I don't know if I'm here to just answer questions or how we want to do it. I know I think move
This
it.
ordinance is to reduce the number from 7 to 5
So-
that the board had requested.
Okay, that's what I thought. I
Yes.
wasn't sure. I think, my opinion, I think everything would run smoother, meetings would run better. And my thoughts are if the more members you got, the more members you got to have a quorum. And we've been running on 3 to, when Mr. Basham was still in there, we had 4 members, and now we got 3. And the meetings go a lot faster. If someone's absent, you just got to have 2 there, so, I think it'll work out a lot better with 5, and all the way around. And as far back as we can see, I think 1964 is last time I could see they had a 4-member board like the state code reads. I don't know, nobody can determine what year it went to 5 and why it went to 5. And it started been running like that. And then in November 2021, it was introduced by the city council president then to turn into a 7-member board. And my thoughts, 7's way too many. And I think we can run business a lot better, faster, and get through things. I think 5 would be great.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President, may I
Yes,
ask?
Councilman.
And Mr. Waters, isn't it also an ongoing issue that board members must be property owners? And when I say property, I mean gravesite,
Yeah.
lot owners.
State statute and city ordinance,
Mhm.
both states that you must be a lot owner. And I've recently been told that means you actually got to own the lot.
Not paying on it.
Yes,
Okay. Oh, man. Paid in full.
yes.
Yes.
And in the past, when I hired in there, they was letting people, you pay your 10% down, open a purchase agreement and do that. But at the time, I was told that's the way it was, which really the only thing we got to do with it at the cemetery is do the purchase agreement with them. It's kind of between council and the board members you appoint. But I guess it actually states that it needs to be paid in full.
Any other questions from council? Yes.
Before I decide on that, could you tell me what are some of the responsibilities of your board members? Because I'm trying to think if 3 people can handle it versus 5 versus, what are the responsibilities if you want to be a board member?
Well, ordinance reads, that they're in state code both. If you read up on them, it'll say they're in charge of the budget, control of all the funding and this and that. Basically, the way it runs, I'll stay on the budget. Me and my office, I'll prepare a budget, then I'll sit down with my office manager, we'll go over it, and then we'll take it to the board. And most all the time, they go with what we think we need. We might do a little changing, so we do most of everything on there. When it comes to decision-making, voting on
different things. Right now, I'm in the process of working on some grants, and one of the board members she's been working with me on it, and they spend some time coming in. There's not a lot of time spent other than board meeting days, but times like this, working on the grants and things, they'll come in. Sometimes some of them will come in and help clean headstones and this and that, but most everything is what we bring to them to the board meeting. And if I got something in between, then I'll email them, text them, or call them, and get the input. And so it's basically approvals that's brought to the meeting, and input, I should say, not just approvals, but giving their input during the meetings.
Anyone else with a question for? Okay, you had follow-up. Go ahead.
Okay, so I do know that you guys have some events like during Halloween, and I know Mrs. Denise King
Yeah.
runs that. And then what if you needed to bring new programs to the cemetery? Like, do the board members are the ones who approve it, and do they do the work, the boots on the ground, or do you need more people on the board to do that? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
the
I'm trying to
social stuff
trying to
and the
figure out how to
celebration.
answer this without. So far, we do a lot of a few historic programs.
Yeah.
And I usually plan them, and sometimes we'll partner with the EB Ball Center.
Okay.
And they'll schedule some, have them there, and we have had a board member at the president of the Historic Society. She's done one or two there. But as far as the board, we usually just schedule them and.
They just approve the dates and stuff like that.
Well, I guess you'd say approve. I just talked to them about it, and we've never had an issue with having a meet.
So three people on the board, you're gonna say they're gonna handle all the other extra events, right, at the cemetery, and you won't need any more people?
We actually basically handle that,
Okay.
and then if they want to come in and help with it or whatever. Now, the historic tour in October,
Yeah.
that's mainly ran by the Old West End, Denise and Brad King. We do go in and stay in the office with them, help them, and this and that, but that's probably the biggest event.
Okay.
The other ones are just, we'll have guest speakers come in. Chris Fluke, everybody knows him. He's come in and done one, and we try to get history of Muncie and Delaware County, keep it on that, and it's really nothing.
Okay.
Not a whole lot of planning. It's just
Thank you.
kind of set a date and make sure everybody's okay with it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, now, Troy, your amendment is asking from 7 to 5 members
Yes.
and not 3.
Yeah,
Uh,
3, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying we got,
7 to 5.
we're down to
Reduce-
3 right
yeah,
now.
they are down.
But the request is going, making it 7 to 5.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks for that clarification.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any
That's
other-
it. Thank you, Mr.
You're welcome.
Water.
Anything else?
Nope.
Anyone from the audience have any questions? Okay. Roll call.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Moving on to resolutions. Resolution 3-26.
Resolution 3-26, a proposal by the students of the AP Government class at Muncie Central High School for a special resolution to install a pedestrian scramble light at the intersection of Myrtle Avenue and Walnut Street. With yield to pedestrian signs for the installation of sidewalks on the west side of Walnut Street in front of Muncie Central High School, and for the removal of street parking in favor of a left turn lane into Central's parking lot at the intersection of Maple Street and Walnut Street.
Motion to introduce Resolution 3.
I'm sorry.
Second.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Did you get that?
Al.
Okay.
Yeah.
Val and McIntosh?
Yeah.
Okay.
We ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Hi, Julie Snyder. Good evening. As you guys know, we try to do this every year. First semester, my AP government class comes to some meetings to observe what you guys do, and we talk about it in class. Even though the class focuses on federal government, I really like for them to come and watch what you guys do on the local level. Similar to federal level, but I just think it pertains to them so much more. So we've been doing this for a couple of years. So this semester, their job was to create a resolution to try to pass here tonight. So thank you, Councilwoman Gullion and Powell, for coming and helping them, because they gave them lots of guidance and on how to write it, because that's probably the hardest part, is trying to figure out how to word this. So they did this on their own, very little help from me. So if you don't mind, they're going to repeat that part and then read the rest of the resolution. I think I'm going to have them introduce themselves first, if you don't care, and then they'll read through it. Okay, so guys, just introduce yourself. They're all seniors. So.
All right.
I am Damian Jones. As you said, we are all seniors of the AP government class of Muncie Central.
I'm Sayla Derby.
I'm Clayton Dick.
My name is Dorian Freyer. I'm Lexi Dotz.
I am Alex Navarro Cortez.
I am Chloe Miller.
I'm Andrew Jett. I'm Arthur Camargo.
My name is Cohen Rivers. I'm Gabriel Novak.
Haley Rollins.
Rixby Christofield. Xavier Wallace.
So, in this case, our proposal is a proposal for a special resolution to install a pedestrian scramble light at the intersection of Myrtle and Walnut Street, the installment of crosswalks at the intersection of Maple and Walnut, with yield to pedestrian signs, the installment of sidewalks to the west side of Walnut in front of Muncie Central High School, and the removal of street parking in that area in favor of a left turn lane into Muncie Central's parking lot at the Maple and Walnut intersection.
We're just going to read through our proposals. So, whereas the City of Muncie values infrastructure, Muncie has already supported changes to create a safer environment for the constituents of our community. Whereas these changes are highly valued around Muncie, however, it is essential to our community if we continue to make Muncie infrastructure safer and more accessible for all.
Whereas of now, many students who walk to Muncie Central for school have to cross an extremely busy intersection between Myrtle and Walnut, Maple Walnut, and Walnut and Columbus. Whereas these intersections are extremely busy, can be also very dangerous for any pedestrian or student walking across them, especially due to the already lack of sidewalk infrastructure placed there.
Whereas one side of Walnut Street already has accessible sidewalks, the other side, the west side, doesn't have any sidewalks in front of the high school. There's only grassy partitions there. This lack of sidewalk encourages the students to walk in the road or in the bus lane, and it's also not accessible for disabled students. Whereas we already have a light with walk buttons at the Columbus and Walnut Street intersection, the one by the Y, it would be even safer with a continental crosswalk was added with a yield for pedestrian sign pointing towards the crosswalk.
Whereas at the intersection of Myrtle and Walnut Street, there is no light, crosswalk, or safe way for pedestrians to walk across the street.
Whereas there are other schools who have implemented safer pedestrian crosswalks, and it has left their communities feeling much safer.
My class has created a survey for Muncie Central students and found that 99.9% of people who responded felt unsafe, and witnessed others get hit or witnessed reckless driving from others around the street of Walnut.
Whereas 72.1% of students noted in the AP class survey that they had to cross North Walnut Street to go to or from school.
Whereas a collective 82.6% of students, parents, or community members agreed that Walnut Street is found to be dangerous or very dangerous to cross during the start and end of our school hours, with it requiring lots of attention to do so.
Whereas Muncie Central Principal Chris Walker and Assistant Principal Justin Oliver reported to the AP government students that in the last 2 years, 2 students have been hit and a countless number of wrecks have happened, whereas at least 75% of those who've taken the survey are in support of the scramble light across from Central.
Whereas Transportation Solutions and Lighting states that pedestrian scramble lights have been shown to reduce pedestrian injuries by up to 38% and are an effective safety measure for busy campus hubs.
Whereas Carlson Attorneys Law Firm describes that a Los Angeles scramble light was installed in 2015 and reduced crashes to 0. From an average of 13 per year before 2015 during the city's Vision Zero LA initiative. Whereas statistics from a New York City study stated that pedestrian scramble light crosswalks were found to decrease the amount of pedestrian injuries by 51% compared to not using one at all.
Whereas Walnut Street currently has street parking in front of Muncie Central, it would significantly reduce the traffic backup on Walnut Street at the beginning and end of the school day to instead have a left turning lane into Central's parking lot. Whereas research from Texas A&M Transportation Institute supports this claim by stating that left turning lanes reduce the risk of crashes by 44% by removing stopped vehicles from through traffic. Adding a left turning lane also increases the roadway capacity by 25% and increases the efficiency of moving cars through the road.
Whereas the greatest burden resulting from an inadequate response to addressing these traffic concerns would be the death and injury of students and community members outside the Muncie Central High School building.
Now therefore, let it be resolved that the students of the AP Government class at Muncie Central High School recommend that the City of Muncie install pedestrian scramble light with continental crosswalks and an accessible pedestrian signal at the Myrtle and Walnut intersection directly in front of Muncie Central High School. The students recommend that the City of Muncie paints continental crosswalks in the intersection of Columbus Street and Walnut, and that the City of Muncie or Muncie Central will work to have sidewalks installed on the grassy partitions in front of the school to keep kids from walking in the street. They ask the City of Muncie to paint continental crosswalks with yield to pedestrian signs at the intersection of Maple and Walnut. Finally, the students of Muncie Central ask that the City of Muncie will remove the street parking only in that section in front of Muncie Central and add a left turning lane into Muncie Central's parking lot at the Maple and Walnut intersection so as to reduce traffic backup. Are there any immediate questions?
Any questions from council?
Yes, yes, thank you, very impressive. I'm interested in the survey. Could you tell me what kind of a survey was it? How many people took the survey? And those are very large percentages that you're quoted in the resolution. I'm just interested in the logistics of the survey.
Yes, let me please pull up my sheet on the survey. So the survey itself, it was put out on Schoology. It is our service that all students of Muncie Central view things like our little piece of information on. So pretty much all students of Muncie Central most likely saw it. And I'm trying to find... Okay, Arthur will be able to...
It wasn't just our students.
And so I do not remember the exact number. I do know that we can attest that there are personal experiences from the people here, including especially myself, as to repeatedly having to cross that intersection regularly.
Chris.
He's got the answer first.
I created the survey. We had so far 91 responses from the general public. Mainly of most of them, I'm pretty sure, were students. Yes, 88.9% of them were students. 8.9% were community members, and the rest, which is about 2.2%, were parents. So we had a lot of students give their opinions, which are the people who cross the crossing mainly. Okay.
Good answer.
Okay. Mr. McIntyre.
I frequently go up and down Walnut, and whether you had a survey or not, to me it's obvious that something needs to be done.
Yeah.
Why it wasn't done in the beginning when the whole process was being done, I do not know. But we have in this city, and I've been here all my life, we always have to go back and then try to get it right. But yes, I'm all for this. I'm all for it.
Well, thank you very much. Well, me myself, I have my personal vision of that. I always had to cross that little part. Either I had to go back all the way, walk maybe 200 feet, 100 feet to actually find that one light, which for a little bit of time now, it has not been working because of the construction around that area of the light. A little before on Walnut Street, and the amount of times that when I had to cross that one part that we're talking specifically, the amount of times that I almost got run over, that it's very difficult visibility from buses, from cars. It's just, and some people really go really fast over there. So I can say it's very dangerous. It worries me. My brother also crosses that, and I'm always afraid for him. Sometimes I hold his hand to help him. So I try to take care of that, but it's, yes. I'm sorry. Vicky, go.
Mr. McIntosh, I agree with you, and I think the situation got worse when we combined the high schools together. So it's even, I
More
think
students.
that's why things got even more, and we never addressed it, you're right. I have a question for you, and I don't know anything about scramble lights, so I'm not that person. But are we going to be adding, or did you think about we're going to be adding a scramble light that will accommodate different disabilities, like people who can't hear, people who have difficulty seeing? Are we just gonna put a scramble light, or did you guys think about that? And what did you come up with? What's the best solution? I don't know the answer to that.
So with the scramble light, we do specifically request things like audio signals, which is really helpful for our visually impaired students.
In your resolution?
Yes.
There's something in the PowerPoint too about that.
It's like a certain type of scramble light that we included in there that accounts for disabilities.
Could you tell me where in the resolution?
Yeah, I'm looking.
Sorry, miss. So it has audio signals, and that is for, and what, and then, of course, it's like,
I think I saw that somewhere on the PowerPoint too. Did you all put that on the PowerPoint?
we just want to make sure that you get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is detailed in the resolution, specifically, let's see, I believe there are multiple parts
I know,
which
but-
mention it specifically. It does include even just in the very end, at the resolution section,
Finally, is that okay?
it does specifically state that we want accessible pedestrian signals. That typically refers to things like the audio signals.
Okay, so we'll make sure it's done. Thank you so much.
So I have worked with this class this is my third year doing this with them. And this class, I mean, I was really impressed by this. I mean, I go in and they've already brainstormed before we get there. And they throw out a few things, and this is one that they felt really strongly about. And I was like, you know what, that's great. I had a whatever, he's 22 now, but whatever, my son, when he was at Central and I was picking up and dropping off, it was bad then, and that was prior to the YW moving in there. or I'm sorry, the YMCA moving in there. And yeah, it's gotten worse, as we all know. And I also work downtown, and I'm coming from the Northwest, so I know that it's really bad. And so for these students to come up with this on their own and write this is impressive, and I think I think it's important. I think this is one we should keep following up on.
Yeah. Mr. Garrett.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
Is it all right if I okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So I would like to speak from personal experience. I am a legally blind student who has a guide dog and a white cane that help me navigate. And I would just like to speak about the accessibility of the Scramble Light. I have used the Scramble Light at Ball State multiple times. And I can speak from personal experience that having a scramble light is much more accessible than a regular traffic-controlled intersection because of the audible pedestrian signals. For example, at Ball State, there's a chirping sound when pedestrians are allowed to cross and cars are not. So that would really work, especially if we have a unique sound specifically for the for when students are allowed to walk without cars, as well as truncated domes, which from my experience are mostly already present on that intersection. However, they sometimes can be damaged or because of the construction that's been going on there. As well as accommodations for people who are hard of hearing. That would be solved through having the signs across the road that show when it is safe to walk, kind of like how there are on regular intersections. So if this is done properly, which I truly believe that it will be, I believe that this will be accommodating for almost every person with a disability. It will make it so much safer because it can be very difficult to walk and pay attention to like every single thing that's going on. There are so many sounds, especially when there's so much traffic. There are cars going every which way. But having that audible pedestrian signal, it will make it so much easier. So I just wanted to speak on that a little bit and explain that this will definitely be an improvement for every disabled student, and it will make life so much better.
Thank you for educating us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just got the way they spoke was amazing. I always say it every year. If you've had the privilege to be in Ms. Snyder's class, the way she teaches and allows you to, she guides you, but allowed you to come up with your own ideas in your own mind. You are very one and rare. We appreciate you from Southside Tucson. Oh yeah, well, we truly though, and the biggest one that got me, I love the statistics and the numbers, but we did combine high schools a while ago. I mean, we're going on a while combining high schools. All the statistics, but the biggest one that gets me, we have one high school in the city. We've had 2 kids hit. That's not okay. That's too many. That's not okay. This is a really good, effective resolution and ordinance to come. This is like, I mean, this affects not you, but as you're driving down the road and that light comes up, you can say your class did this. Your class helped this kid from not getting hit. We have an historic field house. I want to get and see the point guard to hear good things, but there's games on and after, not during school, after school. It's one high school. It's constantly busy. We worry about, to and from school the most, for sure. This is a really great ordinance. The feedback and the questions that you've answered that we've had is really very above par. So I'm in full support of this, and this is a really good one. This is a really good one that goes into place and affects day-to-day life. and, helps day-to-day life from multiple people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Like Councilperson Gullion, I just really appreciate being invited to be involved. It was really exciting to come to the class that day. Poor Lexi had to listen to me talk and talk and talk. But I'm going to up the ante because something dropped in my lap. We had talked about the cost of this, the possible cost. Shannon Powers from the Muncie Parks and Recreation Department had notified me of an Indiana Safe Route to School grant application. Which this might just be a good fit. And so I will forward that information to you. You can talk to Mr. Walker, and perhaps we can help make this happen because the city, like that, and that's what I explained to you that day, is that this is going to be difficult on some of these, but.
Got a hold of Mr. Leach.
Fantastic. Go ahead.
I believe that the total, if I remember correctly, was about $340,000.
Woo, that's more than this grant.
Yes. Granted, this was an estimate from him. He did not express exactly where that number was coming from, and I do know that whenever I did the math on the parts cost, and I'm by no means an expert, I found that it shouldn't be more than $40,000 in actual construction costs. So I suspect that the price will be lower.
Ms. Powell?
Well, but I just wanted to, I'll send that to you, and if nothing else, it's a start in regards to the painted crosswalks, and I know that we were talking about different things with the sidewalks.
Yep.
To create a safer path, and so I will forward that to you, and you guys
Very
can
good.
get to work on grant writing tomorrow.
Okay.
But thank you for inviting me, and fantastic job on all of this in the presentation. You guys are.
To add to Ms. Powell's, there was an email sent to me way back, and I did send it to Mr. Chuck Reynolds, and it is from Elizabeth Wilcox, the planning technician for Delaware County Muncie Metropolitan Plan Commission. So the administration, Mr. Grimm and so I sent that to both of them and spoke to them about it. They they really were interested with the Westview project and said that there were grants to help with that. So please reach out back to Mr. Chuck Reynolds regarding that, and there's specific grants, information, and funding for school roads and protection for students. So I will email that to you too, if you would reach out to the administration. So there's another way of funding that too. The applications for this are due March 18th though, for this grant.
We got it.
Okay.
Any other questions from council? Okay. All those in favor of this introduction, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we have a motion to adopt resolution 326.
Second.
Okay. And all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moving on, resolution
Oh, I'm sorry.
4-26.
Let's read it. Get my paper. Sorry.
Real
I
quick,
apologize.
real quick on that resolution. I know it's just a resolution, but I'd like to challenge every one of you council members to work your butts off to get this done for these kids. It's very important.
Yeah.
That's a very busy intersection since we introduced the YMCA there. It's really busy, and there's too many kids, there's too many precious commodities walking through there every morning and every evening, not to have something there to secure those folks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a motion to introduce resolution 4-26. Oh, you haven't read it yet?
Yeah.
Sorry, get ahead of it. Go ahead.
Common Council, Resolution 4-26, Common Council of the City of Muncie, Indiana, resolution approving interlocal agreement for the housing and operating of a municipal drone base.
A motion to introduce resolution 4-26.
I'll make a motion to introduce.
Have a second?
second.
Okay.
Could I have a point of clarity? Do we need to introduce the resolution, or do we just need to make a motion to adopt? Is that,
This one is just to introduce. I think it is.
we need an introduction and an adopt? No, I thought
Just
that
adopt.
in the past, we have had just a motion to adopt, and because it is a resolution, once passed, it is resolved. Is that correct?
Yes, and I may have led you astray on that.
Yeah, you did.
So it's just-
And we just signed your contract.
You sure did. We read you somewhere. Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, we'll hear.
Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome. So, Chief, you're here to speak on Resolution 426.
Okay.
Right, yeah. Chief Sloan with Muncie Police Department. I got a Detective Sergeant Chris Swanson here with me as well. The problem with drones, we use them all the time, right? But the problem with drones is they're never in a state of readiness, right? It always takes time to get these things in the air. It depends on if the person that has been assigned the drone is working that day, or whether it's available, whether it's charged, and those are all the things that we're talking about. And for the amount of incidents where we need to use it and can use it, sometimes we're unable to. And that's really what this is all about, is getting this to an area where we can use it on a regular basis. And the only thing we're talking about putting on top of the county building here is a drone base, an antenna, a camera, and a power and/or data cords. Okay, so that's literally it. We want the drone located at the county building due to the fact that we already have offices and personnel there who can tend to the drone and already have an interlocal agreement for those offices. It has the height, the security, the central location, the power, and the data capabilities that we need. The main focus of this is to ensure that the drone is charged and ready at all times to assist officers. This will help combat crime, and it will accomplish all of the other tasks that we need to do. So, any questions?
Mr. Mason.
Chief, how long has this drone program been in operation?
Probably, I mean, we've been running drones probably 8-10 years.
Say that again.
Probably 8 to 10 years.
Thank you.
And Chief, what are you using for this program? You say it's a program.
Sure. So we use them for a lot of different things, right? We use them for locating fleeing suspects. We use them for vehicle pursuit mitigation, hopefully. Warrant service overview, search and rescue, criminal evidence collection and crime scene documentation, vehicle crash documentation, officer awareness in dangerous situations and critical incidents. Tactical uses, of course. We like to usually send a drone in a tactical situation to clear an area before we send officers in and risk their lives. Potentially natural disasters and lost children and endangered adults, particularly because when you lose an endangered adult in the middle of winter and it's cold outside and you don't know what they left with, you don't know what their condition is, what their mental state is, we need to find them right now. So officers stumbling around in the dark is not efficient. We'd like to use the drone for stuff like that.
I have several, so you can skip me after each, or, get somebody. Okay, so I'm going to ask you this. Who's going to own the footage that you,
Muncie Police will retain all of that stuff, and it should be uploaded. We're working with the drone company now to get that uploaded into Axon, which is where we like to store everything, just like our body cams.
okay. So the vendor, may I continue, counsel?
Does anyone else have a question?
Does anybody
I
else?
do, but
Can
go
I,
ahead.
may I have follow? So do vendors have access to that? So you store it, do the vendors have access to that data?
I mean, it's owned by us. I'm sure that at
But
some...
can they see it, and then use it, whoever your
Could the
vendor?
vendor use it? I don't know. If it's uploaded in Axon, I would guess not, because the companies
Okay,
are not
so you're saying-
compatible, yeah.
Mr. Baxter?
Thank you. And am I correct that you have also used drones, both city and county, in high traffic situations to identify where to send help, where to send.
Oh, sure, yeah. Now, I don't know what county's doing, I can't speak to that, but I do know other agencies around the state. I mean, Anderson, Indianapolis, Fort Wayne, all these other agencies are running drones on a regular basis for various projects, yeah.
Sure.
Anyone else with questions?
Oh, I do have a lot, but I don't know what it's.
So then, so right now, where is this? Where do you keep this now?
We keep them in the cars as the guys or gals run around the city at night. So there are officers that are drone pilots, like Detective Sergeant Chris Swanson behind me here. It's a Part 107 pilot, and he's pretty good at what he does. One of the smart kids. So. Yeah.
Okay, I do have another question. Ma'am.
Yes, go ahead.
So let's say you sent a drone for a certain thing, right? For safety, and I think drones, I think technology is amazing. We need to utilize that.
Sure.
It helps prevent, crime, all that good stuff. But there's certain things I need to process in my head. For example, so you send a drone out for a certain assignment. Can footage from that assignment used for different investigation? Like you send the drone on a mission to spy on me, okay?
Okay, well, let's not use the word spy.
Whatever, no.
That's
You
not what we're
see
doing
what
here.
I'm doing. I'm committing a crime in my
Right.
back patio,
Okay.
right?
Mhm.
My neighbor calls you and say, hey, Rose doing this. You send a drone,
Right.
I am doing this. But then my next door neighbor's doing something else.
Mhm.
And then do you go back and look at that to get the other
Generally
person?
not. So unless it's an exigent circumstance or we have a warrant, we're not going to send it to somebody's house like this. And if somebody calls in and says, hey, there's a shooting going on or there's gunfire or something like that, yes, we would send it to it. But we're not just going to send it over somebody's house.
Okay, well, I
Yeah,
didn't want to use
based
the word
on
shooting,
just
Yeah.
random calls into
But
city.
once you send a drone on a mission,
Mhm.
you collect the data for that mission. What you see around later on will not be brought back for another investigation. Say, oh, wait,
No, it
at
shouldn't
this
be.
time,
No.
we did this.
No.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Well, I'm just privacy. I mean, this is,
Sure. Yeah.
there's a fine line between that and privacy, and I'm sorry about my questions.
No,
These are-
it's fine.
No, they're great questions. Thank you.
But to be clear, this resolution is about storing
Correct, yeah.
a platform for
Correct.
storage.
To make sure it's
So-
charged all the time and in a state of readiness, correct.
And that's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Circling back to something you said you had already had many offices in the county building.
I didn't say many offices, I said we do have offices in the county building.
What office, may I ask?
The high-tech
I know it's
crimes
not
unit?
I'm sorry?
The high-tech crimes unit?
Okay, thank you. I just was
Mhm.
curious. That's the first I've ever heard of that. So how many pilots, drone pilots do you have?
Currently, there are two, but depending on how we do this, there's what's called a certificate of authority, which gives anybody who's trained at the department to do this the ability to fly these things, so.
And I appreciate you responding today to the questions I sent.
Sure.
Obviously, there's a lot of questions within the community. And I think that my concern and something that I've expressed is that, yes, this is about an interlocal agreement, but to build, so we already have the drones. We're not going to be purchasing more additional drones?
Right, we've already paid for all
We've
the
already
drones.
paid for the
yes.
drones. And Councilperson Selvey talked about use of footage. And so, again, there was some comments in your email about cost.
Mhm.
Is there going to be additional cost by putting these there? And where will that come from?
Well, like I said in my email, all this comes from the police department's budget. I have to get approval from you to put it there before I know what the cost is going to be for putting it on top of the building. So there's wires to be run and things like that. Yeah, so.
And follow up for that, sir?
Yes, go right ahead.
Will this come from your 106 fund? Will it come from grants? Because my concern is at a time when we are talking about hiring freezes and things along those lines for other departments, that if you're going to come and ask for more general fund dollars, and that's going to further make a horrible situation for some of our non-public safety employees. So will this come from funds that are strictly for the police department that cannot
Yes,
be
I
utilized?
don't foresee us coming to you for any funds for this.
Good, all right.
Thank you.
I might have missed it, but could you give me an example of what you use it for?
Well, like I said, sometimes we have missing children, sometimes we have fugitives on the run, sometimes we have missing adults and things like that. So any of those kinds of situations, those that I read down through earlier, are just a sample of what we can use it for.
Would one of the examples be face identification, like
No.
maybe?
No, there's no plans for that
What's to
right
stop that from happening?
now. Me and policy.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the success rates as so far?
The success rate of, I don't know how to
Using the
quantify
drone.
that. Well, I mean, specifically in, say, an ERU situation, a SWAT type situation or a tactical situation, it lets our officers know prior to going in what the layout of the house is, what the condition of the house is, where the suspects might be hiding, which doors are open, which doors are shut, and just what they might encounter when they go in this house, so they can plan appropriately and, hopefully prevent us from using any kind of force that's unnecessary or from our people getting hurt.
I have a question for you. The drone that would be set on the county building then, what's the range and flight time, something like that?
I don't think that's probably something we want to talk about here.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh asked a question about the facial recognition, and I didn't hear the response. You did
Yeah,
say
no, I have
policy?
no interest in facial recognition for this at this point.
But
There's no
you're
plans
saying
for
that
that.
you.
Possible.
Okay, I'm sorry, may I finish? Okay, so is there a policy, is there anything written down for
Yeah.
us?
Yes.
Where
It
is
doesn't
it? Where can I
necessarily
find it?
address facial recognition, but there is no plan for that.
Where is it written that there's no, I mean,
This question was posed to us. We aren't even thinking about facial recognition. That's not something that this is going to be used for.
okay,
I-
okay.
Again, if
We're
I
going on
may,
the record saying that's what it's not going to
Right.
be used for, okay?
you have used drones for 10
8 to 10 years.
8 to
Yep.
10 years.
Mhm.
County has used drones also and continues to.
I'm
We're
assuming,
talking
yeah.
about an agreement just to house,
Correct.
to store.
Right.
And these other issues, of course, are important and interesting for us to know
Right, yeah.
the answers to.
Mhm.
But again, this interlocal agreement, this resolution that we're voting on tonight is just for storing
That's it.
these, that's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you mentioned that we needed to approve this prior to you having a number, trying to, the
Yeah,
cost,
I
I
mean,
don't understand why that.
there's always, if you guys aren't going to approve it, I need to look for someplace else.
Sure, but do you have some kind of number then on what this actually would cost?
No, I can't know that because we haven't been into the building and had somebody look at it to determine exactly what that's going to be. So I don't expect it to be an exorbitant number to install, but
Question, how many drones are we talking about? How many do we have, and how many do you need? Oh, I'm sorry, did you give me permission?
Say, yes, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry.
He said earlier, one.
One, just,
What-
so we're gonna do that for just one drone?
yeah, just one drone on the base is all we're talking about. We have other drones, but this is just one drone on the base to make sure that one is always ready at all times.
And do, yeah,
Yes, go ahead.
and do we have a number, how much they want? Or how much are we gonna be paying for that interlocal agreement? Is there not?
That's what I'm saying. We're going to have to get in there and find out exactly, once we get permission from you folks to get in there and look at it.
Okay,
You see what I'm saying?
thank you. Thank you so much
Mm-hmm.
for answering the questions.
Yeah, thank you. We have questions from the audience, I believe.
I'm sorry.
Real quick, Audie Barber again. This has been approved a long time ago. This is just to house to charge the drone.
Okay.
But I'm kind of curious, how often are the drones being used at this time? I mean, are they used every day? Are they used just on certain cases and so on and so forth?
Again, that goes to availability of the drone, right? We could use it more, but right now it's just contingent on who's working at the time and, if the drone is ready to go. So sometimes we have to call people in, which costs more money and it wastes time in critical situations or when we're looking for somebody or something like that. So we could definitely use it more.
How often have you used it last year?
Not sure I could put a number on that. Oh, it's
3 times a month?
it's probably more than that, but I couldn't put a number on it right now.
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Someone else?
Questions?
Hello, my name is Tanya Pearson. I'm a resident of Muncie, Indiana. I want to once again thank Councilperson Nora Powell for keeping us all up to date on these resolutions and ordinances and just maintaining an environment of complete transparency. So I was able to read a response from Chief Sloan. He responded this afternoon to an email that Ms. Powell sent to him and stated that regarding Ordinance 426, that Muncie Police already have drones, and he hasn't heard any contestation from the public. And I think that's probably because a lot of us didn't know. It's kind of a recurring theme. So I did a little research, and the Ball Brothers Foundation did in fact award more than $50,000 to fund the purchase of drones as part of its emergency management initiative in 2021. And this was designed to promote public safety. And I have to say, I'm a proud member of the South Central neighborhood in Muncie. It is a neighborhood that when actually a student recently just said, ooh, that's dangerous down there. And I love my community, I love my neighbors, but I live in a very drug-addled, heavily policed area. And my interactions with the Muncie police, and this isn't an individual issue, this is an institutional issue, because of where I live, have not been wonderful interactions. It's very different when I'm at Ball State, and I'm not in a poor neighborhood and treated like a poor drug-addicted person. So 5 years later, after this initial drone program, the most heavily policed neighborhoods are disproportionately impoverished, undereducated, underemployed, and drug-addicted. They are not more safe than they were before there were drones. They're They're certainly not going to be more safe if the Muncie Police invests in a storage facility for 1 mega drone. I don't really understand. 25 years ago, if you're over 45, you remember a time before the Patriot Act, the creation of the Department of Homeland Security and ICE, and the militarization of neighborhood police forces. A proposed drone base would have been an affront to the Fourth Amendment, our rights to privacy, and our civil liberties. Everyone in this room would be freaking the fuck out. This kind of mass surveillance is so normalized at this point that it's scary. Criminality is a symptom of poverty. Drug addiction is a symptom of poverty. Full stop. Stop criminalizing poverty and addiction. Spend money in community-based alternatives and on organizations already doing the work on the ground every day. Like the Serenity Club, like Recovery Cafe, thank you very much. Stop building townhouses and crisis centers that are never open. Pay teachers, subsidize small businesses, invest in infrastructure on the side of town that you never ever visit or go to. I've never seen the mayor on my side of town. Take the time to unlearn the stereotypes surrounding homelessness, poverty, addiction, and criminality. If all else fails, ask yourself, what would Jesus do? Probably not invest in a drone base.
Andrew Seeger, I'm a resident of Muncie. I'm neither for nor against this because I don't know what it involves. And it appears to me that from the conversation that you're not very clear about it either. I wonder, the question is, do you have in front of you something in writing rather than relying on oral conversation about what it involves? I think you should, we're talking about transparency, I don't think you should vote on it without having it in front of you in writing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pretty sure I answered all the questions that put to me in the email earlier about what this would entail.
You did.
So just making sure we're clear about that. And I know he might not be aware, but I did try and answer all the questions in writing as to what this entails. Yeah. Okay.
And the answers questions, tough questions we asked there too, so thank you.
Rick Yenser, newsman and author. The only question I had again is how much it's going to cost. I was at the county commissioners meeting today, and they tabled this for some more information. And if you don't know the cost, regardless of just needing a flat platform for drones, I would think again before you do anything.
Yeah. Hello, my name's Cooper. First, I just want to echo everything that Professor Tanya said. You know, all that stuff. I just want to repeat that. But I also just want to ask like a few questions and make a few statements. Like, firstly, like what does the world come to where we have the students talking about building crosswalks and making the community safer, but we got the police talking about drones? And what type of world is it where the students come here with more statistics? They have information on the cost from two different sources. The fucking police have no clue what's going on. My apologies for the expletive. A little heated. Again, I mean, I don't know how these drones are going to be combating crime and why we need to be investing all this money. Again, I mean, we're saying it's going to come from the police budget, but in the resolution it just says the city of Muncie shall incur all costs. It doesn't say anything about it can only come from the police budget. I think that'd be important to put in there in wording and make it just make it like official that, you know, I'm not, my tax money it's only coming from the police budget. If it's going to be used by the police, I think that is a fair ask and a fair thing to put in there. And again, I mean, how often are we using these drones to where we need a base to keep them? I don't know why. How often are we using drones where we need to have a separate building? We can't just keep them in the cars as are. Why can't the police just charge them before they're going to use them, or keep them on standby charged? Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I just think there needs to be a lot more information before we commit to something like this. Yeah, that was really all I had to say.
Hi, I'm Chris Swanson. I'm one of the drone pilots, and I get assigned a drone to take home and to work with me. And some of the issues that we definitely could utilize the use of the drone more is missing children. I've had several times that, you know, I'm not working or something like that, and I've had a call like, hey, we got a missing 3-year-old, something like that. Being able to dispatch a drone quickly, as opposed to having to wait for somebody to come in from out of town or whatever the case is, just to have an officer that can respond to the scene from a drone that's already centralized. And I think Chief Sloan had spoken in some of the questions about having be more accessible to officers that are actually on scene and working. So I think that would definitely be a huge improvement. We've had several missing person cases, silver alerts, things like that, that would be beneficial, looking for people that are lost in the woods, things like that. Those are the type of things that we're really wanting to use this for, primarily over than, yes, we have tactical elements sometimes that Chief Sloan had spoken with, but being able to dispatch it for public safety is one of the huge things. If you have somebody that just committed a robbery, and that person was running through your backyard, I think being able to get the police a tip to where that person is, if they're going into a house or something like that, would basically be, could potentially be a life-saving situation. So that's definitely one of the biggest reasons that we want to implement a program like this, is for public safety. It's not to, as Chief Sloan said, it's not to record people's faces or things like that. It's to keep people safe.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, again, I am Damian Jones. I represent only my own beliefs. So, I have a lot of strong feelings about the drone situation. As somebody who is a programmer and I do a lot of robotics and mechanics, I work heavily with both AI and drones. And, okay. I'm trying to think of which point is best to bring up first here. Yeah. My first thought is that drones are not necessary. There are other measures that we could be using, both to prevent and reduce crime. Truthfully, okay, when I think of these drones, it makes me think of a surveillance state, because the truth is that is very much like a surveillance state. I know that he is saying that we're not going to be using them for face detection, we're not going to be using them for tracking people, we're not going to send them to your house unless there's a crime going on. But the truth is that, first of all, that is not in writing. Second of all, if that is in writing, it will get changed. Our U.S. government said that they were not going to be using AI for piloting drones in the war, and yet they just signed a several billion-dollar contract with OpenAI to do exactly that. There is no guarantee in the world that Muncie PD will not be doing the same thing. The power of drones is completely excessive. Part of the sanctity of a human's privacy in this city includes things like the fact that if the police are not directly in your backyard, they do not know what is happening. And that's okay. You have a right to privacy as a human being in this country. It is specifically implied by the Constitution. You have the right not to be watched. And again, he says that we're not going to be watched, but the truth is that there's absolutely no law stopping them from just flying a drone up to your window. In fact, I'm pretty sure even a civilian's allowed to do that within a certain extent, and there's also nothing saying that they can't just say that they have probable cause to send it into your backyard and see you. Additionally, the suggestion that we will be using this to find missing children, I think, is questionable, because in that case, right, we need to remember that missing children are not standing randomly on the top of a roof or in an open plain. They are, like he said, in forests or in houses, but the drones can't properly navigate these forests. It's a lot better to put people in there. Frankly, if I was missing and I was scared, I would not run towards a drone. I would think that's going to explode me. And I know that might sound like an irrational fear, but for years now, we have had the technology. There are videos online of even TED Talks where they got out drones this big that they have automatic tracking systems, they have cameras, and they have bombs, and they can explode a person. I don't want to fearmonger, but I can't guarantee that Muncie PD is not going to be equipping weapons like that on these drones. There is no real purpose to these drones other than either surveillance or violence. It does make me think of the whole panopticon thing, right? The idea that, well, maybe the prisoners won't try to escape if they all think that they're always being watched. That's not a healthy way to prevent crime. The way that we should be preventing crime is by doing things like improving our city, being there for our people. It means creating a sense of community. It means doing, like she said earlier, working on uplifting the south side of town. It means making more opportunities for people. People turn to crime because they're missing something and they need help. That's not to say that we're not going to be fighting crime, but that's to say that we don't all need to be stared at by floating eyeballs with guns on them and not do crime. We just, there's really no actual practical benefit to this, and there are a lot of better places that our tax dollars could be going to. Yeah. It's just not in any way necessary, and frankly, what it feels like is Muncie PD acting like they are at war with the people. This is something that I see a lot. They've been repeatedly accused of excessive force and aggression towards the citizens, and truthfully, sometimes that feels true. I feel that they are kind of hostile towards me, even when I'm just looking for help. They don't, I don't know, I just feel like this drone idea feels more like they're trying to be at war with us. They're not trying to keep us safe or help us. Drones would not make me feel any more safe, and I do live on the south side of town. But if I see a drone flying, I'm going to feel significantly more unsafe. And I think a lot of my friends can probably agree that they feel the exact same way. There's just no need for these drones. They're completely unnecessary, expensive, they're not going to help anybody, and there is absolutely nothing in the world to guarantee that they will not become a danger to the common people of Muncie.
Audie Barber, once again, we're missing the point here. They're already using them. This is just, they're already using them.
Yeah.
This is just a point to be able to access the drone faster if somebody elderly, Alzheimer's patient parent is missing, or if there is a kid missing. Lord forbid anybody's kid come missing. And I understand that. And we've all got these things right here that keep very good track of us. And they've all got cameras on them. And they're all recording us all now. Why do you think we're building all these data centers? But the point here is, it's not about the drones, it's about the charging system that they need to save time on putting these drones up in the air, because they are already using them. They've done told you, they've been using them for 8 or 10 years. They're already using them, folks. If you want to stop that, you're going to have to change the law. You're going to have to go back and get some amendments applied, ordinances filed and stuff like that. This is just a resolution. This is just a resolution. Don't give it no teeth. They're going to do it anyhow. Period. The only thing is, the council would like to know how much it's going to cost to get up on that building and run them wires and put a stand up. That's what it boils down to. It's not about who they're peeking on or who they're looking at, whatever. It's a cost of how much it's going to cost to put that thing on there. And maybe you guys can table it and say, hey, go get us an estimate. Bring it back next month, and we'll tell you whether we're going to pass the resolution to where you can take it on and bring it on in and pay for it. So that's my opinion on it. They're already using them, folks. It's too late. It's already being used. Thank you.
Okay, just to be clear, I think the term was explode people. We can't explode people. We don't attach guns to them. Let me just read you IC 353359. A law enforcement officer must obtain a search warrant in order to use an unmanned aerial vehicle on or over private property, or to conduct a search, perform surveillance, obtain a photograph, or to obtain video of private property or of individuals, items, or structures located on private property without the consent of the owner of the affected private property. However, a warrant is not required for use of an unmanned aerial vehicle if a warrant would not be required for a search not using an unmanned aerial vehicle.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
Just point of clarification there. I think
Thank you.
Sergeant Swanson has something.
There are FAA regulations that absolutely prohibit dangerous weapons, objects being attached to drones. So that would include things like deploying any type of weapon or anything like that. So there's definitely no fear of any type of violence being utilized by the drones. And that also includes anything going like attack drones, things like that. So like any of that type of stuff is it's not possibly to be used by the Muncie Police Department. Now, if the feds, like if they operated under different rules, that's something different, but as far as the Muncie Police Department's concerned, it's strictly observation that it would be used for. And as the code also talks about, like we're not going to be able to use it for situations unless we have a search warrant for it, unless a search would not be required by the law. So that would be an exigent situation, such as if we're looking for a missing person or a dangerous person or something like that. So I mean that's the nuts and bolts of
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the gentleman asked if they had anything in writing. And I think we're kind of putting the cart before the horse here. The purpose of this agreement is set forth the rights and responsibilities of the parties in the housing and operating of a municipal drone base for the city governmental function. This agreement shall create a revocable license only and shall not convey any leasehold, easement, or other property interest. You know, I hear a lot of people talking about drones. We're talking about a base, a charging base for this drone that's been in operation for 8 to 10 years. You know, let's not blow this thing out of proportion.
Thank you. Thank you.
I know one of the big things that I mean, literally not the big things, but one of the things we're asking for, the only thing we're really asking for is to run electrical
Yeah.
and data to the building up to the roof. My office is over there. I work in the high-tech crime unit. I'm assigned to work there. And it would literally be on top of my office over there. So I would be over there and accessible to it if it's needed for anything, and kind of managing to make sure that it's safe and secure.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Messenger.
Okay, one other
Talk
thing.
about an extension cord.
The chief said that this was coming out of the police budget.
Yes.
Now, I think we need a point of clarification on that.
Bottom.
The police department, well, I guess they're considered the city, shall bear 100% of all costs related to the drone base, including installation, operation, maintenance, insurance, inspection, removal, restoration. The county shall have no financial obligation. I think what we need to be talking about is the cost. What the cost of this is gonna be. There's nothing in here clarifying what the cost of this is gonna be. You know, we're talking about drones and what drones can do, when that's not what we're here for.
Okay.
So I'd like to know a little bit more about what the cost of this operation is gonna be. Chief, you have any idea?
Can we let the gentleman speak?
Yeah,
Let the young man speak. Chief, could he speak real quickly?
Yeah.
The young man.
Right.
He says.
I'm sorry, you want him to speak or me?
Let him, go ahead,
Yeah,
let him
sure,
go ahead and speak. He was standing there, if you don't mind, just a moment.
Thank you so much. I was waiting my turn. First of all, I have a few things written down. I'd like to start off with the proportion comment. I don't feel it is very welcoming to come to the people you're representing and tell them they're overreacting of any sort. Your position is not to tell us how to feel, but to represent us for what we feel. Thank you very much. And yeah, I'd like to reiterate what you said, the cost. That is really getting at me there. I'm sure we'll hear a lot from him right after me. And then the policy portions, they're very concerning to me. But again, we're talking about a base. So from that perspective, if we have them in cars and stuff, why do we need the base to begin with, is my main question. I'll just like sit with you guys on the 8 to 10 year part that they're already being used and they're going to continue being used. Why do we need to upgrade them? Why do we need to keep moving them forward upwards if they're already functioning and have been functioning for 8 to 10 years? I feel like that's just opening the community up to a cost that could come from people or different boards that already are out of that money. That's my main point here. Thank you so much. Oh, my name is Juno.
Okay, so as Detective Sergeant Swanson said, it is just a matter of running the cabling up there and getting a contractor up there to get that estimate. So as soon as we know that, it's what, 25 linear feet, maybe?
So it's not going to be,
It's
do you
not
have an
gonna be.
estimate or no?
Do what?
Do you have an estimate?
I mean, I'm going to get,
Estimate, yes, estimate.
yeah, less than $5,000 probably.
Oh, wow, okay.
No.
Thank you.
Is there anything else?
So we're talking 5,000, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Evening again, Council. Try and be quick through this. One, I want to start off and say that, like, through the number of conversations I've had with Chief Sloan, like, I have no doubt that he has the benefit of Muncie at heart and everything like that. The problem is that Chief Sloan, unfortunately, we're going to have chiefs after you, and so we have to I think what you're hearing from the people are concerns because we haven't been able to have this conversation. Not on any level, really. And we certainly haven't had it with the increased militarization of police, crackdowns on constitutional rights that we've been seeing in recent times in the past year, so especially. These are valid concerns, and I believe that the police have valid, reasons for wanting a drone, and I'm not trying to suggest that we don't have a drone, but we have, they're going to talk about missing children and these things that play on our heartstrings and everything like that, whereas we have the reality that it's possible that they end up being used to surveil homeless camps. Where are the homeless camps around Muncie? How do we get rid of those? But back to what we're talking about, because we are just talking about a resolution on whether or not to allow this. One, I think there are a lot of valid questions, a lot of good questions you all have had, and a lot of good questions from us to where's the money coming from specifically? Do we need an amendment to this? I would ask that we table or whatever you need to do for the resolution, like as if this is just a first reading, if it doesn't get passed till next time, we don't have to pass it tonight.
It's a one.
Right. So we don't have to pass it tonight. Right. And right. It is, to allow them. So, to allow them to do this. And you're right that they can go ahead and do this, but the council has the option to make its voice known, to represent the people. I'm going to stand up against the argument that just because we've had phones in our pocket doesn't mean that drones are okay. But we should have the cost. The cost should be, maybe this is something with the system, the way, things get different with government, I know, to where sometimes you need a resolution in order to allow this to happen, in order to find the cost. But it seems to me like a lot of times we get these things to where if I were going to a bank, I wanted to renovate my house, well, I need to know what the estimate is for that to go say, hey, I need to borrow this money. Not that they're borrowing any money, but they're going to need to spend money, but where's that money coming from? Just knowing information, making information available. What you also have the ability to do here, this raised a lot of questions that you all should be having to where, what are the drone policies? Because we can't always rely on a good police chief. We can't rely on what's not there, what we don't think will happen, so we can put it in writing what will not happen. And I would personally like to see some kind of joint agreement from our police and council and administration that we will not be using this technology against the people, even if asked by higher powers. I would think that there would be reports, if we've been using it 8 to 10 years, that there would be ability to ask questions as to the effectiveness. How often are they being used? Is it 3 times a month? Is it 3 times a week? What's the effectiveness? How many times has it been shut down because it didn't have a battery charged? Those kinds of things. And then there is the question of public information. I know while they have no plans to release information to go through and do that. What if I submitted an APRA? Is that going to allow me to access police video from the drone footage? And I mean, these are things that should be set in our policies. And I think you have an opportunity to think about these things as we move forward. And I would appreciate it if you would. Thank you.
I have a couple of just things that I think everybody should be asking. First and foremost, I'm as pro-police and supportive of law enforcement as anybody can get. And I appreciate the chief reading the law, but for citizens to think that there are police officers, or there have not been times where officers have done things they shouldn't do, Audie, that does happen. That does happen, okay? Not saying that anybody here on MPD is going to do it. I hope, but we do have to think about that. The other thing is, it's odd to me that we have 2 of these that are in cars. I would have thought we had 10 or 15 or 20 of them, honestly. I was shocked to find out we only have 2. it's strange to me because I'm thinking about this. We're like, well, we want to have a centralized location where one of them is charged so that if there's a pursuit on Broadway and McGalliard and the pursuit's going crazy, we're going to have to send an officer up to the county building to lock this into this thing, start it. Where are we going to be then? They're going to have to chase the car. Where to me it makes more sense to have this thing in the car, charged up and ready to go. And when we say, well, they might not be charged. Look, an officer's not going to come to work with bullets not in the magazine not in the gun. If officers have these drones in the cars, it should be their responsibility to make sure that they are charged. I don't know whether it's just $5,000 or $35,000 or $1,000 to put this in a centralized location, why we would be spending any extra money to do something that we can't already do. It makes more sense that we would never say, well, let's put the guns at the county building, and if you guys need the guns, go up and get the guns. We would never do that. It doesn't make sense to not have these drones where these officers are when they need to be there. Maybe it's something, and look, I'm not pro-drone. I'm really worried about some of the things that it could be used for in the future. But if it's a question of if we're saving all these children with it and all these elderly people with it, which there are good there are good instances where drones can be used. I'm not debating that. But wouldn't it make more sense to have more drones? Maybe I don't know how much a drone is, but couldn't we use that $5,000 and buy a couple extra drones and put them with a couple extra officers in the cars rather than making something with the county building? The other thing is the money is what it comes down to. You guys have had a lot of questions. The citizens have had a lot of questions. I appreciate that the chief responded to the questions today. But that went out on one counselor's page, and very few people got to see that. The biggest question here is, the council tabled this today. You guys should table this today. We should ask more questions. I know it's just $5,000 that we've been told, but let's just table this, ask more questions, come back next month, because, again, this is a resolution. It only requires one vote. So it's not like 2 votes and whatever. If you pass it tonight, it's done. So there's no reason that we need to get ahead of the county. What if we pass it, you guys pass this interlocal, and then in 2 weeks when the county meets, they say, no, we're not going to do it. So why don't we maybe back up, and you guys could get with your counterparts on the commissioners, talk with them, find out what the issue is, and let the public know. Maybe if we had more knowledge, if the people had more knowledge of what was going on, maybe they wouldn't be as afraid, or maybe we still need to just say no altogether. Thank you. Bye.
Sam Johnson, Muncie. I just want to acknowledge, I think I've heard some murmurs from, I was going to say the peanut gallery, but I guess that would include me, that the public comment has kind of exceeded the scope of what's actually on the paper in terms of this is just about the base. But at the same time, a lot of people might not know about the drones, and if this is their opportunity to speak, that makes sense that they'd want to speak up. And there's also something to the fact about if you don't like what's being done with the drones, just because they are being used, doesn't mean that we have to make it easy for the police to utilize them if it's something that people do disagree with. Now, do they disagree with it or do they not disagree with it? I think part of that has to do with transparency. They said this program's been going for 8 or 10 years. I mean, right there's ambiguity in that answer. I think, if you'd like to have some more solid information on what's being done with the drones, how long it's been in operation, and if it's been in operation that long, hopefully the police can try to build some trust by providing some transparency on how it is being used. They said how it can be used, but how something can be used and how something actually is used can be 2 very different things. They could use this to help Nicolas Cage find the Declaration of Independence. That doesn't mean that that's what's actually happening. I don't think anyone here, I'd be surprised if anyone objected to finding, lost children with drones. And if that is a big part of what's being done with the program, it would be great to see some statistics about the use of those drones, and that could give us encouragement. Or if it's being used in ways that people don't like, then that could lead to pressure to an input of how they would like this technology to be used. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, last time will be up. We've operated it for 8 to 10 years without any complaints, without getting sued, without wrecking into anybody, without having any problems whatsoever. Okay? This is about putting a drone on top of a building. It has nothing to do with how we're using it. Okay? I'm here to tell you, we don't track the numbers of times that we use it and what for. That's not what this is all about. If it is used in the prosecution of somebody, it's put in a report. Okay? It's just not. I think we've gotten into the weeds here. So, just my opinion. If you guys don't want us to put it on top of the county building, well, no, I'll find someplace else to put it, I guess. But that's where I'm at with it.
Thank you, Chief. Any other questions from council?
I have a question.
Yes.
Thanks. A lot of points have been raised while we're sitting here. Number one, I would like to see the written policy for drone use. I think that that's something that should be shared with council. It should have been shared with the ordinance. I think a lot of the reason that people are concerned is because I don't know that we expected that we were using drones. That's not something that we've really promoted. I think this is a delicate balance between safety of officers, which is very, very important, and the civil liberties of our constituents. But putting all that away, my number one concern, because we are the financial body, is that we go back to, we don't know how much this is going to cost. I know you've said $5,000, but we don't know. Things go higher. And I'm fine with that if that's the money that, I'm sorry, what was that, Chief?
If we need to, we'll get bids. That's how the process is set up.
Okay.
If it goes over $5,000, then we get bids.
Well, but it would have been nice to have brought an estimate with this, just so we could have an idea, because obviously a lot of us have questions about the cost. I'm going to continue, Chief.
Go ahead.
So my next thing, because I am keeping an eye on how we spend our money, because every dollar that we spend from the general fund are dollars where we have to increase hiring freezes, and the employees that get harmed when we take more money out of the general fund are our AFSCME employees and our civil employees. And so I would like to make a motion, if it's possible, to amend the interlocal agreement, page 1 at the bottom, where it says the city shall bear 100% of all costs related to the drone base, including installation, operation, maintenance, insurance, inspections, removal, and restoration, to add something, and Mr. Arnold, perhaps you can help me to word this, but something along the lines of, these funds will come 100% from the Muncie Police Department budget, Fund 106, or other funds that are only available to the Muncie Police Department for use.
That's fine. I told you I wasn't going to come back to you for more money for this.
And I understand that you might not, sir, but it doesn't mean necessarily that, what's in writing is what we have to go on. We could come back and say, but you said, but it's not in writing. And so that is my motion to amend the interlocal agreement, section 1, under scope, the city shall bear 100% of all costs related to the drone base, including installation, operation, maintenance, insurance, inspections, removal, and restorations, and then add, these funds will come 100% from the Muncie Police Department budget, Fund 106, or other funds that are only available to the Muncie Police Department for use.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you.
The city council isn't a party to this agreement.
The interlocal,
So
yeah.
we can't
Make
do
an
the-
amendment to,
We can't make an amendment to the interlocal agreement?
you're not, I don't think, in a position
That's
Yeah.
very
to
unfortunate.
make an amendment to
Okay,
So we can put it on the resolution.
amend the resolution.
let's put that in the resolution then.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Sure.
I want to make a motion that we table this.
I second that.
Obviously, yeah, we need more information on the money. on the financial side of it.
Point of
Also-
order, we have a motion and a second on
Sorry.
the floor.
Yes, you're right.
And we need to address that before we come in for something else.
It's a null motion, though. I can't do it, so it's dead.
No, he said that you could make a motion on the resolution, not the.
But I
made
haven't
the
yet.
motion on.
I haven't made a motion on the resolution, and so Councilperson Gullion made a motion to table. I second it.
So, this point of order could be the motion to amend the agreement, and the motion to amend the agreement is out of order. And so if the chair makes that determination, we can move on to Councilwoman Gullion's motion to table.
So moved then.
Okay.
So we need to vote.
A point of clarity, we are voting on tabling this resolution. And if we vote yes, it means we want to table it. If we vote no, it means we don't want to table it. Is that correct? Okay, good.
Can we?
We need to vote.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote? There's a motion.
We need to vote.
Mhm.
Motion's been made.
Mhm.
Roll call.
Ms. Selby?
Yes, table it.
Ms. Powell?
Yes.
Mr. McIntosh?
Yes.
Mr. Garrett?
Yes.
Mr. Basham?
No.
Ms. Gillian?
Yes.
Mr. Dishman?
No.
Mr. Mason?
Yes.
President Green?
No.
3 noes. 6 abstentions.
Well, it's just tabled. The resolution's tabled. Okay.
Mr. President,
Yes.
would it be possible, not dealing with this resolution, but to send the use of drones? Can we send that to committee, to public services, just so we can have more information on how our Muncie Police Department is utilizing their drones? Public services would be chaired by Jerry Dishman. Members are Harold Mason and Sarah Gullion. And just to get more information on how the drones are used, and maybe then the public will feel more comfortable. And then we can also get more information regarding the financials. I mean, not necessarily at the committee meeting, but at a later time.
We could have the committee do that at a later time. Yes, we can do that.
So
We'll need to do it before
there's nothing, so it would just be the committee deciding to do, okay, so that would be something that Councilman, Chairman Jerry Dishman would need to decide if he wants public services to meet. All right. Thank you.
Not yet. We're going to public comment.
Yes, I had a comment before we reached all this stuff, but I also have a comment now. I don't know how that works.
But that issue is over with. The resolution's done. It's tabled. Public comment, and I do want to stress again that public comment is not a Q&A. It's not a question and answer. You come up, you have 3 minutes, you'll be timed, and you cannot give your minutes to someone else. You can come up as your name is called.
Okay, and I just want to say that I was given this, so when it's at 3 minutes, I'm gonna let the president know that time is up, and I would appreciate it if you respect that time is up. So, for the first person that was registered for public comment is Mr. Richard Yancer. You're welcome.
Body can in 5 days. Rick Yancer, newsman and author. We stand in a moment of history here because the world is at war. And war means it's going to cost more. So I'm glad tonight at least council thought about how much anything costs. Because I noticed here last week, I wasn't around, and I see now we're using money or possible money to tear down something that's been here for half a century, namely the mall. And I'm still wondering why we're not spending more on economic development. Because, you know, two of our biggest industries left town some time ago and are out in Yorktown, Mersix, and of course Muncie Power Products been around here a century. And they're bringing a manufacturing plant here, but they're not bringing it back to Muncie, they're bringing it back to Yorktown. So I think you need to think about using money for its intended purpose, for economic development. And if you want to tear something down, I hear a lot of noise from people in South Muncie about Southway Plaza. Now, I know you're on the unsafe building. I think the time's come to do something because there's trash being dumped there. I heard some reports of people hanging out, sleeping there. And I think the time's come just tear that down and clean up that corner like the mayor and others have cleaned up Memorial and Burlington, and of course 29th and Madison too. And while you're looking for more money, another South Side need, I saw in the park plan that there was commitment maybe to 50 grand to bring Gus Macker back, and the neighborhood association did a good job to bring it back. That's going to bring thousands of people here. It's always popular, and you need to find some money, especially after you spent, I don't know how much in edit money on charity when they get money from Ball Brothers. And I didn't even know, that's the first I heard that Ball Brothers bought drones for the Muncie Police Department. I think that was the issue tonight, that we didn't even know. But anyway, with everything going on and the prices going up, you better be very careful of how you spend our money.
Thank you.
Mr. Ayers. Okay, I'm sorry. Mr. Paul Partizano.
Good evening, everyone. Paul Partizana. I'm a citizen of the universe, more specifically Muncie. And I've got several things to talk about. The first, the ordinance 625 on the transparency. Yes, kudos. Yes, that's, yeah, no more said. It's good. Something else that I want to bring up, and I'm 64. I've lived here all my life, most of my life, and I know we're in a drought period. But, you know, when I drive around, White River is lower than it's ever been this time of year. And I just wonder if there's something we don't know. Because next time you drive around White River, just take a look. It's low. It's lower than it normally is this time of year. And again, I know we're in a drought, but it's concerning. It's concerning. And the resolution 326 sounds great. Kudos to the youngsters who came from Muncie Central High School. When I was their age, the teachers all said, you know, you're the leaders of tomorrow. And we thought, yeah, right. But it won't be long. So kudos. And I'm a former teacher. I'm a retired high school teacher. And I'll tell you what, anything that provides a safer atmosphere for kids, I'm all in. So great. And my last point, I've talked here several times about the former Borg Warner site, and I'd like to thank Councilmember Garrett for looking into this and moving forward, and the wheels are turning. So thank you for that, and hopefully we'll have really good news soon about how this is going to be a win-win for Muncie and Yorktown. And finally, everyone in this room, we must all hang together. We're going to hang separately. Okay, thanks.
Mr. Seth, oh, I'll do my phone. Thank you. Mr. Christopher Bilbrey.
Yeah, really. All right, hey. Stopwatch.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you for listening to the people. I hope maybe this was a lesson that the people will stand up and speak. Hopefully from now on you won't have to be beat over the head to do the right thing. But I don't hold out much hope. I think that you probably will have to be. So just, you know, I don't know, consider it, because doing the right thing is not that hard. I do want to say, kind of give a word to the council. Just because the council president says this is not a Q&A doesn't mean when your constituents, which are your bosses, stand up here and ask questions, any one of the rest of you, if he doesn't want to ask questions, you guys are always free to. He doesn't lord over you. You all have the same power. And I just wanted to kind of give a status update because it's something we've been talking about. I only sent 3 emails to Council President Jeff Green this time, and he finally responded for the first time in 6 years or however long he's been up there, but we didn't get anywhere on it. He responded and didn't want to take a phone call, and since I guess this is my time to speak and you can't stop me or your question or whatever, I'll say, just call me. When I give you my number, you don't have to be afraid. Stand behind the words you tell me. I don't always record phone calls, but as a member of media, sometimes I do. So I guess it's like Russian roulette. You pick and choose if you call and if I record you. And I guess what I would say is don't tell me lies and you won't have to worry about it. The other thing I'd like to say is, lastly, we talked about the reason the rules got changed and all of this was because 2 businesses left, apparently. I was told that by Republican Chairman Tim Overton, and apparently it's been asked of the mayor, and the mayor said, no, everything's going great and wonderful. So my question is, who's lying? Is the mayor lying? Is Tim Overton lying? Or Tim said that this idea came from Jeff. So is Jeff lying? Is Tim lying? Or is Dan lying? I'd like to get to the bottom of that. You guys might not answer me now, but I think it's something that we need to get to the bottom of. Somebody told a lie and it's been corrected, but I'm still going to be digging into the lie, and we're not going to be okay until we figure out, was Tim Overton lying, was Dan Ridenhour lying, or is Jeff Green lying? Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, Mr. Chip Taylor. Thank you.
Been a long meeting, so I'll keep it brief. I originally signed up because I thought I was going to have to make my earlier comments first. But I'll just say, first of all, I was remiss in not thanking Councilman Green for changing the public comment rules back. Thank you. I used to teach public management, and I always told my students, it's like, nothing wrong with trying new stuff. There's nothing wrong with figuring out maybe the old way worked too. So I appreciate you taking a look at that. To everybody, thank you. I'm always on 626. I'm always glad to be proven wrong when I'm being pessimistic, right? I'm kind of gloomy Gus, but somebody, I'm glad to be proven wrong then. And also I want to say I didn't mention the addition with the input that came from the city clerk and her team is good. I've had a chance to work with Belinda and Lacey and some others there in the office over the last 2, I guess going on 3 years, one way or another, and they've always, I think they're dedicated to getting information out to the public, but it's other bodies' information that they're passing through there. So I'm glad to see you working with them. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Andrew Jeff? Okay. Miss Ellen Whitehead?
Hi again, Ellen Whitehead. My views do not represent those of my employer. I had originally signed up for the public comment portion because I thought it would be at the beginning and I thought it would be my only chance to speak on Ordinance 626. So I just want to say thank you for reversing some of the changes to public comment. I really appreciate that we will have the opportunity to speak on ordinances going up for introduction, as well as have an opportunity to speak at the beginning of the meeting. So I still wanted to take advantage of having my name on the list to come up here and say thank you for that. And thank you all for passing Ordinance 626. I promise this will be the last time you will have to hear me up here talking about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Miss Rita Faulkner? I think she's not. Miss Tanya Pearson?
I was also
Okay. You want to, okay. Mr. Wayne Scaife?
Mr. Green, you did it again, man. You said you weren't going to change any rules, then you said no questions. First I've heard of that one. So that's a new rule. So I'll remind you, House Bill 1338 states, no changes can be made, or any rules that are made have to be made by the governing body. Not one person can make that rule. So the fact that you say we can't ask questions on public comments. That's never been said before. So if that's a change, the governing body has to do that. That was signed into law March 2024 by Governor Holcomb. So that's the law. So the fact that you tell me I can't ask questions, it's illegal. That's wrong. You can't make that decision. The next thing I want to say, I was up here November, and I was talking about you guys calling a question. And like I said, you did it again last month. So let me remind you the rules of calling a question. Calling a question is a motion. So the fact that you say, I want to challenge a question, that doesn't make sense. It's basically not necessary. So when you call a question, it's a motion. Person has to second the motion. If the motion doesn't get second, calling the question goes away. So if the motion is seconded, it has to be 2/3 vote for that motion to carry. 6 out of 9 members have to vote on it. So just for clarification, and I said you shouldn't be calling the question in a public setting like this, because we should all have input on anything you guys decide on. So calling the question is, I call a question. Someone has to say I second, and then you guys vote on it. And it has to carry by at least 2/3 vote, 6 or 9, 6 people or more. So that's how that works. But once again, it's not fitting for this setting at the city council meeting, because when you guys call a question, we have to stop debating, and we can't give input on what you guys discuss, and that's wrong. Thank you.
Miss Kim Whitlaw? Mr. Alec Kluber, I saw him leave. Miss Sarah Vitale, left. Miss Cheryl Swingley, thank you, pass. Miss Janetta Presley.
Hi, I'm Janetta Presley, and I'm from Muncie, Indiana. I would like to talk to you guys about the bill that the Senate put in for the homeless. So the Indiana General Assembly Senate Bill 285, they passed it. So it's illegal for homeless people to be on private or public property, to camp, to live. The governor hasn't signed it yet, but it is pending to be signed by our governor. And then that's for the whole state of Indiana. I called down in Indianapolis to the State House and asked, so I knew for a fact that when I came here tonight that I was reading what I seen on Facebook correctly. So what are we going to do with our homeless people here in Muncie? Because they're on White River, they're on public property, you know, they sleep everywhere, and they can be jailed for that now. And our Delaware County, not only is Muncie responsible, but Delaware County also, you know, the police are going to start enforcing it. They're going to have to. It's a law. It's going in, and it's in effect in Indiana this year. So what are we going to do? A lot of those folks have money. They just can't find affordable housing. So affordable housing for someone on Social Security benefits, they get between $900 and $1,000 a month. So affordable housing for them is like $500 a month. So they have enough money for everything else they need, which includes public transportation, because most of them don't have cars. So therefore, where are we going to house them? How are we going to find housing for those folks so that they don't get arrested and they don't end up in jail and they don't end up with trespassing charges where they're going to have fines and fees and all of this, and then they're just going to be turned loose back to do the same thing because they don't have anywhere to go. You know, I think that we need to go back to the 50s and 60s where we had boarding houses. Single people lived in boarding houses, and they did well in boarding houses. I even looked up about boarding houses, and you know, they were served breakfast and supper. That was part of their payment, and then if they wanted a lunch, that was extra. So, you know, we need to come up with something, because these folks are going to go to jail. And I work with these folks, and I don't want to see this happen. So I'm just bringing it to your attention, and I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know what the city can do, what our county can do, but we need to do something, because this is a law now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Cooper Archer?
So much better.
Yeah, so I mostly just want to speak about the two resolutions that came up tonight, and I just want to say, like, really proud of these students. I mean, they came in here, did this for a class, and they had more statistics, they had more information, they did a survey, which is far more than the police department did, and that says a lot because those people are paid. And I don't know, I feel like they left, so I kind of wanted to speak to them, but I mean, if you're coming in with a resolution talking about crime and talking about why we need to spend more money on certain things to stop crime, you should probably have statistics about how that would actually do that, about like how actually like we need this. But yeah, that's all I really had to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Beth Messner, and I do believe she left. Okay. Miss Mary Moore? She left, okay. Miss Allison Stanton?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Cameron Grubbs?
I know I've said a lot tonight. Hard to believe there'd be more. I did have a couple things. First thing is that because the next meeting you have is on April 6th, that April 6th is the deadline for people to register to vote if they want to participate in the primary. So I want to make sure that people go to indianavoters.in.gov to register to vote online and get registered before April 6th, or by the end of April 6th. I had a question about board appointments and how you do things, just something that could be worked in. But I've noticed that it's kind of like people get chosen beforehand, that they were going to get just nominated because you've met them. I would like to see some kind of a procedure to where like people could turn in, like, hey, we know that the board for this is coming up, and you can turn this resume in or come up and present themselves, and then you get to pick from those people, kind of a thing. I did have a request in that I don't know that there's any policy that requires the communications from the city to happen within a certain amount of time to the public, but I've submitted APRA requests back in October for things that came up with the budget, October and November, and have not gotten anything back yet. So I don't know if that's something that the council can do to kind of codify or get with the mayor about, like, hey, you got like 45 days in order to get back with the public when they make an APRA. And then back to what Janetta said on Senate Bill 285, just for clarification. Now, there is some stuff there to where the local police must remove people within 48 hours of a warning. But according to the Indianapolis Star, it outlaws long-term camping on public property like sidewalks, riverbanks, and bridge underpasses unless that use has been authorized by law. And so while there can be discretion with law enforcement, because they do that all the time with, like, oh, that's not enough weed, we're not going to take it. So they'll do that. There could be discretion, but we could take it off their shoulders, theoretically, if council were to look into this and see if, like, maybe we can designate a place that is out of bounds for that, in order to have some kind of protection, take it off of the police's shoulders, the responsibility of that, like, of that conundrum of following the law versus something unethical as jailing the homeless. So, thank y'all.
Thank you. Mr. Jackson Franklin. Okay. Mr. Audie Barber.
Stiffening up on me a little bit.
Mr. Green, I want to thank you. You've been thanked a lot tonight. And when it's time to thank somebody, you know, I thank you for changing the rules back the way they were, the ordinances, or the meetings and stuff. And one of the points I made a couple months ago was when you change that, damn, is that 3 minutes already?
I apologize.
I know I'm slow speaking, but okay.
I apologize. That would have been careful time.
But that goes back to the point I made a couple months ago, that if we are allowed to talk, you know, during and after and everything, we might be able to sway some votes to maybe change people's minds and stuff, and that's what we're here for. So I appreciate that. Thank you. Another thing that's been getting a lot of chat on the Facebook and the internet is the sewage bill. I don't know if very many people have you been told about it, been brought to your attention or anything, but my sewage bill went from about $28 in January of 23, and I was up here then, and I was up here last year, and I told you guys, you're raising these bills, it's going to catch up to people. You're raising these bills, there's people on budgets. Guess what? My sewage bill went from $23 a month to $58 a month in less than 2 years. That's more than double in 2 years. Yours did too. Why? Why do we have such a surplus of money setting 2 doors over here for the sanitation district to have 10 or 15 or 30 million or whatever? I don't know exactly what they got, but even if it's $2 or $3 million surplus, why do we have to charge our customers, our city people, our taxpayers, more money for sewage bills when they've got plenty of surplus? Are we doing too much of the separation of the storm and sanitary that we're just using too much money on that, giving them too much money? I brought it to the attention a couple years ago when they was paying like about $12,000 too much to have a sewer manhole put in. Nobody wanted to listen. Now our sewer bills are going up, doubled in most cases, and people's really complaining about it. And it's hitting people in their wallet. So this year, when we pass the budget, we need to make sure our 4% is only 4%, because 4% of $30, what, $1.20? Why did it go up so much? We was told 3 or 4%. Why has it doubled in the last 2 years? Doubled. $23 a month to $58. So we need to look into these things and make sure when they're throwing these numbers out here to you guys that it says 4% increase. But it's not a 40% increase and maybe a typo. So we need to check into that stuff. That way we just not sitting up here voting, okay, yeah, we'll vote for this. I know some of you folks work hard on that budget. I know some of you work really hard on the budget. Some of you guys are just up there to vote. You don't even look at the budget. But we need to take it into consideration and look at the budget, make sure the 4% is not 40%. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Damian Jones? Not here? Okay, that's the last of public comments.
Last one.
Yep.
Make a motion when you adjourn.
Anything else from council? Need a second? We had a motion.
second that.
Closed.
Motion,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Sometimes.
Meeting adjourned.
Hey, the bathroom
Yeah, sometimes it's.
Yeah, he did.
So, are we still on?